Remember to subscribe and hit the notification button to keep up to date with our latest videos.
That's roasting off first and second gears in this Renick Performance Cadillac ATS-V sedan. Okay, it's way more practical than the coupe. So basically what James has done with this car at Renick Performance, it puts down about 600 wheel horsepower, 600 foot-pounds of torque. Quote unquote, it eats Huracáns for lunch. That is like a bullet point for this car if there ever was one. But anyways, okay, so this car, what's really special about this car, it's got the 8-speed, but what James has done is he's taken out the diff from the 8-speed and he's put in the 373 gearing from the 6-speed. So that's the 6-speed manual from the ATS-V 6-speed and the Camaro ZL1. So what you got with that is the way shorter gear ratio than stock, and I mean 8th gear, generally speaking, in this transmission is like, I just had to get on the power for a second. Generally speaking, like with stock in this car, 8th gear, you're turning no RPMs when you're on the highway. But in this configuration, with the shorter gearing, you're turning like 2,300 RPM at like 75 miles an hour, which is pretty high for 8th gear. But that being said, this car is very kind of straight line oriented, even though it still does handle very well. But as James was saying, the diff in the back, when paired with this 8-speed, it stays very aggressive and it likes to kind of stay locked most of the time. So it can get twitchy. Basically, he just warned me to, you know, be careful. But it's basically a straight line car. It's a beast in the straight line. I mean, it's good in auto mode. It's definitely very good. It kicks down. The responsiveness is great, especially with the shorter gearing back there. But with the paddles, it is a little bit delayed. It's not ideal, but if you want to hold gears, like that's what they're there for. And as you can see, like it's definitely not the worst, but you just got to be aware of the delay. So when you shift up, you can shift before redline. So by the time it shifts, you're at redline, right? I think these cars look great. I've said that before about the ATS-V. It's aggressive where it needs to be. It's not aggressive where it doesn't need to be. And it has really good lines. I believe that ducktail on the back and some few extra bits are Renick Performance. It's got Renick Performance springs and sway bars as well, just to kind of tighten up the chassis a little bit, along with that shorter gearing. In a 4-door sedan like this, it really ties together the whole package into something that Cadillac does not offer from the factory. But yeah, if we give it 3rd gear from like 3,500 RPM right now, 17 pounds of boost, and even in a Cadillac, and I'm afraid I have to say this, but like even in a Cadillac, it gets you to smile in an instant. So it does have, the blow-off valves do vent to atmosphere, which James was telling me is actually illegal in California. But anyways, regardless, it sounds awesome. You get turbo spool, is tuned to the same frequency actually as the blow-off valves. So they kind of come on in unison. And let's say you're on 8th gear on the freeway, and then you kind of load up the turbos a little bit and let off. Nice blow-off. Very subtle though, very subtle. When you roll down the windows, it's a little bit louder. We just went through 3 gears in like 2 seconds and went way too fast, allegedly over the speed limit. It's really good fun. That's crazy actually that we just went through 3 gears there, basically from 20 miles an hour to about 70 miles an hour in a couple of seconds. Of course, we've got the heads-up display on these cars, which is awesome. A lot of GM cars, top of the line, like V models and stuff. Like this thing pulls very, very hard. Now I really wish we had something direct to compare it to. I can't even talk. But the way the turbos come online with this V6, twin turbo V6, is really ridiculous. There's not much boost. It's running like 17 or 18 pounds, putting on 600 at the wheels, and the response is nuts. The response is just absolutely insane, but you still have that displacement up top, carrying those revs and carrying the power. The torque numbers, the really impressive part. The power doesn't tell the story completely. The torque is what you feel, and you definitely feel it in this car. It's a lot of fun. Nice Alcantara steering wheel. I would change a couple things in the interior. This is all down to like Cadillac specific stuff. Not a big fan of this like kind of fake carbon fiber plastic stuff on the side here. It looks good. It's not the greatest. Alcantara all around is awesome. The leather is great. This piano black kind of like thing you got going on in the center console, it gets very dusty. All right, yeah, as I was saying, it gets very dusty and very unpleasant to look at very quickly. One of the big downsides to a lot of GM cars nowadays, to be completely honest. The two biggest standout things for me are the torque curve and the size of the car. Those are my two favorite things about the car. Hands down, third would absolutely be the way this car looks. I think it looks sick. All right, so now we are in track mode. And basically, what's really cool about this traction control system in the ATS-V, it's smart and it has a bunch of options, all right? If you just want to cruise around and drive all day and not have to worry about any of that, you can do that. But if you want to go in track mode like we are now, it will happily do that. It'll go into track mode, and then you have 5 different settings for traction control. So first is wet, second is dry, and then 3, 4, and 5 get progressively more intense and more scary. They're gonna have a tendency to want to try and kill you. Let it be known though, this also has water meth injection, which is awesome, contributes with the tune and all these different things combined, and the intake system from Renick Performance, to give us that awesome power band that this car has. But this thing sucks down fuel like a pig. Like, it is insane when you're on it. Even on the freeway, like I said, it's turning 2,300 RPM at like 75 miles an hour, even in 8th gear. So if you're looking for a way more dedicated handling package and sports package, gearing and everything for the ATS-V, this is definitely the way to go. But if this is your daily and you do a lot of freeway miles, might not be the best just because of that fuel economy. But if you do want to go fast, you've got that tank in the back for water meth injection, which, you know, obviously cooler intake temps, cooler combustion, and more power, which is always welcome. When you shift from 3rd to 4th, the RPMs don't, like, there's so much power too, but by the time it shifts, you're already back up at 6,500 RPM. So by the time it shifts, the tach doesn't really move. Like, there's a little bit of a delay in the actual tach. So when you shift from 3rd to 4th, it basically just stays at the same RPM. Almost like a CVT. Like, it's, the way this thing can stick in the power band now is next level, and there's 75 miles an hour in a heartbeat. Really, really insane stuff. If a car makes me laugh, you've sold me. If you modify a car and it makes me laugh, I'm gonna like it. That's plain and simple. Even though it might have like a few flaws here and there, like the black on the interior. Honestly, that's the ATS-V's biggest flaw in my opinion, and the gauge cluster. I really do not like the gauge cluster on the ATS-V. These seats are really awesome. Obviously, Recaro sourced seats for Cadillac vehicles, as it were. But as an American manufacturer, Cadillac has come a long way in the performance side of things, and Renick Performance, James and all the guys and Matt at Renick Performance are really doing something well for the brand. They're really doing good by the brand by tuning them to a spec where car enthusiasts like me and you really connect with the car. And I think that's what Renick Performance is trying to do with these cars. And in this particular case, they have absolutely succeeded. So much fun. Thank you guys for watching. My name is Marcus, as always. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. And hit us up on Instagram at Roads Untraveled. Don't forget to follow James at Renick Performance and Arena as well. She's out here filming with us. And yeah. Rest of our content in California is up on the channel right now, so definitely check that out. We've been here for a month. We'll be back sometime in the summer. Back to Vancouver now, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.